All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Start us out with a joke. Well, I'll just open up the charts for the last week. What's up, Mello? How we doing? Doing good, man. Doing good. Surviving. Being as patient as possible, even though it's like the hardest thing ever. Just give a few minutes here. How's the trading been for everyone, though? It's been rough. It's been real slow start to September so far, but we kind of expected that. Still annoying though. Yeah, fair. It's been the same for me the last 2 weeks. Probably the least amount of trades I've taken in a long time. Yeah, exactly that. All of the above. Well, to be honest, this has been such a perfect week for me to do Monday range. Monday range isn't something I trade as much as I should, but like obviously when I put these together, I go do a bunch of back testing to find all the stuff for the videos, and like Monday range this week has been absolutely beautiful. But it's definitely something that even I need to trade more of. Gives you clean scalps like literally every single day if you're paying attention to it. And the best part is like the points in the market where it's super choppy or super low liquidity, like 9 times out of 10 you're not getting continuation, you're not getting breakouts, you're getting like reversals and liquidity sweeps, and it's like Monday range just plays absolutely perfectly in those periods. So personally, I feel like when we're ranging and stuff, it's something I'm definitely going to start implementing more myself as the Monday ranges. Because I've traded it for a long time. It's just I don't trade it as much as I probably should. But we'll dive into all that. Just give another 2-3 minutes here. Let people join up, see the alert that we're live and stuff. And for anyone here who needs to leave or like bow out early, this will all be recorded just like all the other ones. So no stress. Oh, nice. A pineapple man in the mix. Yeah, honestly. Like the best part about Monday range is like if you guys have watched the OBOS or the RSI divergence masterclass, or if you just use them, it's like if you tie in divergences like a 30-minute divergence or a 15-minute or hourly whatever into a sweep of Monday high or low, just like anything, like your probability of the setup playing out goes so much higher than just the sweep. Same if it's like extremely overbought or oversold on the sweep. Like so like Monday range, especially when we're ranging, if you use it for scalps, and then if you tie that in and have additional alerts from the bots, which like you can search in 2 seconds to find if there is a div or if it's overbought or oversold into the sweep, like you can catch really nice intraday scalps consistently with this. Native likes to listen to my voice while he falls asleep. That's why he's here. Yeah, exactly. The sound of green P&Ls and confluences and charts is soothing. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here. You guys let me know if you can see it. Just give me a sec. All right, it should be sharing. Just let me know in the chat, and we'll get this party started. All right, sweet. So you can see the chart here. All right, perfect. So with Monday range, there are two essential ways to play it. There are reversals and there are continuation. Now, first of all, Monday's range, what is it? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's the high and the low that's created on Monday. And typically this will act just like any other range. So all of you should be pretty familiar with ranges in trading, as price ranges about 80 or 70% of the time. I forget the statistic. It acts the exact same as that. So the same as in any traditional range, when you sweep the high or you sweep the low, one of two things is typically going to happen. And it doesn't happen instantly, but like you're going to get one of two things that happens. You're either going to sweep, say Monday's high in this instance, and you're going to get acceptance back into the range. And this is going to set up for a reversal in which you typically can target at least the mid range or Monday's low. And you can play that as an intraday scalp normal range. Or you're going to get continuation where you sweep the liquidity and you start consolidating above, or you have a lot of volume and you impulse up through, and you get continuation outside of the range. So as always, our bot does the heavy lifting for you in terms of alerting you when the high or the low is swept across all of the altcoins in the market in real time. So using these bots, you can go back and back test and see what a reversal looks like. You can see what a continuation looks like, which ones you're more familiar with and which ones you prefer to play. But our bots, again, will just save you time going through hundreds of charts, trying to remember which ones are doing what. It'll ping you in real time saying XYZ has a sweep of Monday high. You can open up the charts and you can look at your traditional triggers and confluences that you take to trade, or tie them in with Woodsbot triggers like RSI divergences, overbought, oversold, increases in volume, things like that, to figure out if it's setting up for a potential reversal or a continuation play. So this bot is great in terms of, you're going to get a lot of alerts every single day for the most part, unless we're really doing nothing in the market, letting you know that there's a lot of coins sweeping the highs and lows. So you have a lot of opportunities to find intraday plays with this bot. So like this is just the general setup here. There is an indicator here. So our indicator, when it does come out, will give you Monday's range as well. But for anyone who doesn't have Monday's range set up, it's just this here. It's called Spaceman BTC key level. And I'll show you what it looks like on the chart. It'll map out Monday's range for you. So you don't have to like manually do anything. So if we come over to the charts here, you can see it'll just map out Monday's high, mid, and low, and you can add other levels and stuff. But for today's video, we're just going to cover like Monday's high, Monday low. And you can see if you go to any chart, it'll just automatically map it for you. So it makes it very, very easy to have those levels. And again, it's just called Spaceman BTC key level. And also, again, like I said, when our indicator comes out, you'll have these levels included inside of there. But for now, you can use that Spaceman one. So that is what Monday's range is. Self-explanatory. It's formed during Monday's price action. The high and the low of Monday are what determine the range. As soon as the daily closes, that's the range that you're working with. Now for the bot inside of the Discord. So let me find it here. This is what it looks like inside. So these are the alerts that you guys are going to get in real time when Monday's high or low is swept across any altcoin in the entire market. So very simple. It's going to tell you like Monday's low was swept, the coin name, and the price at which it was swept, as well as like the time. So you can see here, sometimes there'll be alerts when a lot of coins and the market itself is moving, where you get a lot of sweeps. And these are bigger moves across the market on Bitcoin and ETH, where you'll get a ton of different alerts. But intraday, you can see that yesterday alone starts right here. And you can see these were all sweeps that happened yesterday, right? And you have the ability to just go into this bot here, take a look at all these different charts, use the indicator, the spaceman indicator to see, and you can just back test, right? You can just take a look at all these and start to understand how Monday's range acts. And you can do that within an hour, right? These are all yesterday, all opportunities for either continuation or reversal outside of the range. So we'll go into each one in terms of the reversal and the continuation trades and what they look like. But does anyone have any questions on Monday's range itself or the bot inside the Discord? We have another bot as well in here, which I'll show you in a second for Monday range, but just general questions now on Monday's range. It's all pretty self-explanatory, but for anyone who isn't in Woodsbot currently or using the bots or isn't familiar with Monday range, now's the time to ask. That is an interesting statistic there. 60 to 70% chance the whole week stays choppy based on historical data inside Monday's range. On an unusually wide range, yeah. All right, cool. So everyone's understanding that. Now, another bot that we have, which is probably very underutilized, is the Monday near. So what this is going to do is, in the click of a button, this is going to tell you the coins across the whole market that are the closest to sweeping either Monday's high or Monday low, depending on which one you're looking at. It'll tell you how far away and the price that it's at. So if you were interested in playing some Monday range plays as of today, right now, this second, you could literally click near Monday's high. You could go and take a look at whatever, the top 3, let's just say, and chart them out. You could set alerts yourself, or you can wait for the alert to come through in the Monday range alert bot. But you can understand that, these coins are 1% away. So chances are we trade up towards there. And if we do, you can then look for reversals or you can look for continuation. But, this is going to tell you which coins are close and which coins you can, open up on the charts and expect some sort of scalp opportunity to arrive soon. So I think this is a very underutilized bot, but very cool because this scans, again, all of the altcoins in the market, all hundreds and hundreds, and tells you which ones are the closest to a potential trade opportunity. So let's take a look now. We are going to start with reversal trades. This is essentially how ranges act historically most often. So let me pull this in here. Is what's going to happen is more often than not, you're going to get a sweep of the high. And if you have acceptance back inside, you're going to get a rotation, usually to at least Monday mid, but also down towards Monday's low, right? And you can see just like how perfectly this played out, right? And, these aren't small moves. So, this is on link, and this is, a 7.5% move rotation down to Monday's low. Now look what happened. We're bouncing from Monday's low. You could have rode the sweep of Monday's high down into full TP down here, or leave some in case you want to try to see if we get a continuation outside the range. But this is like a two-day trade where you can have pretty tight invalidations on these. That's what's so nice about them. Because you start closing back inside the range here, right? Like you can have invalidations of whatever, even just say above this, like even 2.5%, right? Chances are if you start to break out, if this was like a 30-minute div and you start to, you get the move off the 30-minute div, but you're holding, then you're going up, right? Like you're probably going to end up into a continuation above it, but you can have really tight invalidations on these Monday range trades, right? Like look at how tight these sweeps are. Like from the sweep, this has gone in total only 0.4% above. Down here, like what, I don't even know, like 0.1, 0.2, and there's probably a div here, definitely a div here. So if you take a look, and anyone who's, like I said, gone through Masterclass 1, Masterclass 2, where we have the divergences, you can tie these into the sweeps, and like it's money. So you can see here we have a 15-minute bullish divergence. You'd have an alert inside the Discord of this. and you have that right into Monday's low. So you can take a tight scalp on this trade, considering you have reversal signals, triggers, on that 50-minute bullish divergence into a key level here. You know, it sets itself up for multiple confluences for very easy, very tight trades. Even here, right? It's like, you know, what happens? You come up, sweep the high, you accept back inside, you even start to break like some structure here, and it's only like 1% away. You could short this with your stops above here and catch a nice move. So let's go to JTO. This one here. Again, you can see how it acts as resistance. Like, how many tests did you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tests. And you don't close like a single candle above there, right? Like maybe a 1 minute or a 3 minute, but like every single time that this level is tested, it's rejected. You could have scalped this one, and you're not going to be alerted every single time, just because sometimes, you know, price will bracket around and you'd be alerted tons of times, but you'll be alerted the first initial time it happens. But you know what happens? You sweep Monday's high, you come down, you test Monday mid, you bounce, you go back up, sweep it again, reject, back to Monday mid. So you can scalp in between these levels all day long. And, you know, eventually what happens? You reverse all the way down to Monday's low and you play the range. This one was, yeah, again, about 6-7%. So then we have WLD. Sorry. So we come up, sweep, you get the alert in real time, letting you know that you've swept. You know, you SFP Monday's high. And again, what happens, right? You at least come down, rotate down into Monday's mid. So you can even use Monday's mid. We don't have alerts for Monday's mid because, you know, this is obviously going to be tested all the time. We care about the extremes of the range being Monday's high and Monday low for the scalp opportunities. But it's the same thing, right? You can put this on your charts, this indicator, go to any chart, and you can just see how the price action is going to react around all the levels. So we come up, sweep Monday's high, rotate down, we end up holding Monday's mid, and you can see we push up again. BTC actually gave a picture perfect example too. Price came down to Monday high, reclaimed it to top. Yeah, so that's the other thing too that we'll show as well is you get retest trades that break out for the continuation, and if you miss the continuation trade, you most of the time will end up getting a retest and a flip of the level. So we'll go into that as well, just like how Mello has there. So let's take a look here. This one was a Monday low sweep early in the week. And you can see, again, you would have had a 15-minute bullish divergence alert inside the Discord here as well. So we came and we swept Monday's low. You were alerted in real time and formed a 15-minute bullish divergence, a reversal signal as we swept the key liquidity. And you can see, like, no time was spent. Like, the range is absolutely respected. And on this, you got 14% move just about all the way to Monday's high. So it's pretty self-explanatory, like I said, for anyone who trades ranges, which again is like the majority of what happens in the market. And we have a lot of educational stuff I've put together for you guys on trading ranges. And the same principles can literally be applied to Monday's range. Monday's range, it's a 1-day range formed on Monday. So, you know, it's not like a 4-hour range that's been formed over multiple days. So you can look to scalp this on like lower time frames, like 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. You know, if you get divergences at either side, if you're overbought or oversold on either side, if you SFP either side, you know, you can look to take those scalps with tighter stops. And again, you're going to be getting alerts all day long. And whether you're taking those trades, you can at least open up the charts, backtest, you know, just put a P&L thing. You don't even have to take the trade. Just say like, oh, okay, I've seen the div here. Just set a P&L thing for yourself, target the other side of the range, and just do that for 1 or 2 weeks, and just do it on like 10 trades and just like have a little list there and come back and just see how they reacted. You know, you can do that for 2-3 weeks, or you can do it with 50 coins in 1 week because you're going to get all the alerts. But you don't even have to put money behind it. Just backtest with a simple chart that you throw up yourself and then look at them in 2-3 days and, you know, see what happened with those. and how you can play them and how you can like end up mastering these tighter scalp trades. But that's the general consensus on like a reversal. It's the same as any range, just it is a 1 day range being Monday, and you can execute these on the lower time frames. So again, we'll open it up here for if anyone has any questions, if that all makes sense. If you have questions on ranges themselves, on Monday's range, on the bot, just anything at all, just let me know. If it all makes sense, then we'll just keep it moving. Is time frame important while utilizing the Monday range bot? Yeah, I mean, kind of also just depends on how you trade. So for me on lower time frames, I execute trades anywhere from 5 to 15 to 30 minute with triggers. So I'd be comfortable executing this trade on 15 minute or 30 minute, given that we have the divergence. So you can use, any time frame. If you go down to like even whatever 2 hour, like you can see on a higher time frame that we swept, right? But at the same time, given that the ranges are tighter just because it's a Monday range, if you're looking for like a sweep on a 1 hour or 2 hour, you might get a candle that ends up closing up here, which is fine, depending on the coin and how you want to play it, where you could have, okay, you've SFP'd on a 1 hour time frame, let's say, and you enter the candle closure with your stop below. Like, of course, you can definitely do that. You can trade it, whatever style suits you. But, generally I'd say probably best practice for executing these is like 15, 30 minute to like 1 hour tops. Just because like if you're waiting for 4 hour closures, like given the range is so small, you might be kind of left in the dust on waiting for a close of the 4 hour or something. All right, perfect. So let's keep it moving. So if we go to now continuation trades, so these are going to be the trades, and you'll see the difference, right? These are going to be the trades where you break out a Monday range. So these are the trades where you get the same alert and notification at the exact same time as the Monday high sweep, but instead of this accepting back inside the range, it and targeting Monday's low, it does the exact opposite. And that's fine. You're going to have both of these styles of coins coming up through all of the sweeps that you get, and you just need to understand how to differentiate between the two and understand your personal triggers as to like what you would look for. So in terms of this one, like, we probably have increased volume into the break. Like, yeah, so you can see here, volume's pretty stagnant. We have the spike here on this big move, but like when we break out, we have an increase in volume here. Price is actually pushing. So if you get a sweep on either side on like decreasing volume or very low volume, it is a most likely higher probability that it isn't going to play out as a continuation trade. Whereas the probability of it being a continuation trade on increasing or increased volume is much higher. So volume's something to watch at the sweeps. So if we take a look here though, like again, so however you trade, the point of our bots is basically like we're going to tell you where and when to look for trades and focus on trades. Whether again you trade supply and demand, support resistance, whether you trade EMAs, whether you trade sweeps of liquidity, whatever you trade, that's you can apply it to all of the bots that we show you and that we offer you. We're just going to tell you across the entire altcoin market, across a number of either reversal or here, for instance, like key liquidity sweeps, we're going to alert you in real time saying, okay, this is where you should look. This is where and when you should look for a potential trade opportunity. And it makes it very simple for you to open up the charts following any one of the bots, whether that is the RSI divs, the OBOS, the Monday range, whatever it is. You have hundreds of opportunities every single day on coins showing potential for a trade. So we have here, you can see like we swept the high and we swept here. So I'm on a 30 minute. If we go down to 5 minute, you can play the retest. So you didn't quite get a retest, but like you swept the high, you came down, and you immediately, right? And you can see the increased volume on the candle that broke out. And so you're not always going to get a clean retest of the range, and we'll go into retests after. Like you can see this one it completely left it all in the dust. There's no retest, but you don't necessarily need a retest of the range, right? You can see that this acted as previous resistance. Price could not break above here. We swept, and that's where we got the sell-off. And then price breaks here. You're now trending above Monday's high. So you can open this coin up and kind of inference that like probably continuing higher, or at least going to get a retest of Monday's high. And if the coin's really strong, right, it's like, okay, well, you swept all these highs, you've come down, you've retested that key support resistance level that before was acting as resistance. And, there's your entry after the break. And obviously onwards and upwards. So since this one broke and you got the alert that Monday's high was swept, this one's gone up 12.5%. We go to Pith, this is Pump. You can see here that this one, again, you get the sweep of Monday high right here, and you get a little bit of a breakup, but then you come down, right? And we're just chopping at Monday's high, chopping. But like you can see, we're putting in like, these lower time frame higher lows. Like we're not breaking down to retest Monday mid, we're trending up, we're sweeping liquidity, putting in a higher low, grinding up. So, you can take a look at this and just see that like lower time frame structure looks good. We're grinding higher and higher. We've swept Monday's high and we haven't rejected. We're not flipping it, but we're also not really accepting back in. So it is a bit tricky to kind of guess what's going on in here, but you can see the lower time frame higher lows, and probably, when we start closing back outside of here again, you can look to take a trade with like stops below here. And I mean, like, what percent is that? Yeah, like a 5% stop, you know what I mean? Or you can look for this time when we come up, we sweep, and you just about get like the retest here, but you start holding. So you can look to play continuation in any way that you personally would trade here, right? But you can see that this one is different in the way that it doesn't sweep, and we don't end up rejecting back down and accepting underneath Monday's high. Bit choppy though, so it's like, that one's a bit tough. We have Pith, which is the opposite. So this one sweeps Monday's low, and this one's just been consistently bleeding out since the big pump that it had. And this one here, Monday range formed. This was the high, this was the low, moved up. We got the sweep here. We have a little bit of a reaction, but you can see again, right? It's just lower highs, goes down again. Even though it sweeps, still puts in a lower high. Like this looks very, very weak. You start accepting below here, it's the same thing. You can look to take a continuation trade in the sense of like, however you want to trade this. With your invalidation being like acceptance back with range, and trade this for continuation lower. Or you can wait for even a retest and fail Monday's low. You get a bear div there and look to take a trade there. But you can very clearly see the difference between the continuation trades and the trades that are within the range, where you just sweep and accept back inside. Sweep, accept back inside. So those are the two different scenarios that you're going to get on every single sweep. Every single sweep is going to do one of those two things. It's not just going to flatline here. It's going to either accept above, maybe it'll accept above, but then accept back inside, which is also a trigger, or you're just going to get that reversal. So let me know if both of those make sense, because those are the two ways that you can look to trade Monday's high on every single alert that you get inside Discord, or just in general if you trade Monday's range. Now's the time too, guys. Like, there are no stupid questions. I'm here taking time out of my day because I want you guys to ask questions. I want to educate you on this. I want you guys to understand that you can use this as a scalp every single day to make money. No, go ahead. Definitely shoot it in. I can just open it up here. Yeah, so Mello has the ticker's KAS with a Monday low sweep and an SFP. So you can see here, we come into Monday's low, we sweep that, and then we get an SFP. This in and of itself can be a trigger in order to take a trade, right? Whatever time frame you enjoy doing SFPs on, you can do them as low as 5 to 15 minute. Obviously, they can be invalidated easier since they're lower time frame. But if you get like a 15, 30 minute or 1 hour SFP of the level, that in and of itself can be a trigger. You've taken liquidity on a key area inside of the range, being the higher the low, and you've accepted back inside, and you can look to take trades literally just based off that. Even Deep Damage says, why the Monday range is so important. So the Monday range, it's the range that's formed on Monday, the first day that the markets open back up, traditional markets anyways, where more volume comes into the market, and it marks out the high and the low of Monday. And you can use those as reference points in order to look for trades, whether we flip outside of Monday range or we sweep it and accept back into the range like I've just been showing. And you don't have to use it, right? Like, you can use any of the bots we have or any of the specific confluences you look for trades, but this is just another tool and another thing that you guys can look at, like another level that you can use to take trades every single day. And you can use our bots to show you exactly where and when to look for trades with this if you want to. So I went long on Aave Monday high retest. Look at Aave. Like up here? Or do you mean Monday low? Slight delicious. I think you mean Monday low. Yeah, no worries. So it doesn't look like there is a 4-hour bull div, but this is a good close. You have the sweep of Monday's low. This is the reaction you want to see off of it, right? So if you got long on the sweep or anywhere in here, right, and you just had stops underneath, it's like this is what you want to see. You want to see it sweep the range lows, take that liquidity, and SFP that like it has. Like, that looks good. You know what I mean? It's even a 15-minute. So you can take this on lower time frames where alert and time of this sweep here, you still had another like 15 minutes where price was right around here to get positioned. Now you can also, we have like a 30-minute div probably forming. If you were to get something like this, where we swept it once again, and then you get like the RSI divergence on alert inside the Discord. You could also look to trade that. So, you don't always have to necessarily get in on the SF. The alert inside the Discord, say let's take Aave, tells you, okay, Aave swept Monday's low. Now, that doesn't mean just open the chart up and take a position. Are we in demand? Have we tested this area before? How much liquidity did we just sweep, right? Like, what was the reaction like? You can gauge these things and also wait for divergences to form. Like, one of the highest hit rate trades is like probably Monday range, but like where you get a divergence, like a 30-minute divergence like this. So say you miss this, but we come down, we get one more sweep, and then we reclaim the range again. You have very clear invalidation being underneath wherever you end up with that 30-minute divergence, especially if we've reclaimed now Monday's range, to take a trade where like you have a 30-minute divergence, which is like a pretty decently high statistic, or not statistic, but like a pretty decently high conviction, indicator that a potential reversal is happening or it could take place, and you've just swept the key liquidity being Monday's high or Monday low, and so it makes a lot of sense for a trade like that. But you don't necessarily just have to jump into the trade right away. This is a good reaction, so if you're long from here, like, yeah, that's great. If you do end up getting stopped break even, or what, you want to compound more, or just like, even if your stops are down here and it makes the div and reclaims, you're all safe. But it just tells you, like, this is a coin that has, even if we go Monday's high, another example here, sweep Monday's high here, you get the alert. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is like 2.5 hours of price action here, consolidating above Monday's high. You would have been alerted that Monday's high was swept. You could have opened up this chart. You could have just patiently watched price action to see, do we consolidate above or do we accept back inside? At any point, you could have taken a trade in here on whatever your lower time frames or just 30-minute. Yeah, and albeit it's not like the biggest move, but like, that's a scalp intraday of like 3 to 4%. You only need one of those a day to, make good money, let alone all of the different alerts you get from Monday's range. So, but this is 2.5 hours. Our bot told you, okay, this is the time to watch as we've swept Monday's high. You can open up the chart and, trade however you trade, go and back test all these alerts to figure out what works for you, what doesn't, and look to take the trade. Same as this, right? You could have been alerted a few hours ago, missed this, but now you're saying, okay, well, if this sweeps again and forms a div, and I get the RSI divergence alert inside the Discord, boom, there's my trade for the day. Just let me know if that all makes sense. I'll show you guys inside the Discord too where the education stuff we have on ranges is. Any sort of range logic can be applied to Monday's range too, just probably lower time frame. But then we also have retest trades, which I'll show you now. So this one on mana, again, choppy, very indecisive. You wouldn't really know what to do here, right? Maybe you got long here after we swept here and retested and held, but if you didn't and you wanted to get long on the retest back in, well, you could have, right? Like we had a 30-minute divergence here. So you had a bullish divergence back into the retest where you swept some liquidity, right? You have reversal triggers now showing you near Monday's high, like bullish reversal triggers near Monday's high. You have a sweep of liquidity. You can take a long expecting this is probably going to move up. And it's like, you've accepted above Monday's high here, right? You accept above and you come in, you retest, and then you get the move. Sometimes you retest a little bit deeper, and that's fine. But you can see there's clear triggers that a potential reversal is forming. You swept the liquidity, you SFP'd it, you have a 30-minute bullish divergence. You can take a trade expecting price to probably reverse higher because you've already taken all the liquidity high. So when you go back into it, you're not going to face that resistance that you faced in this whole choppy area here. You've beaten that. You've gotten acceptance above. Now you're retesting, and you can look to play those. So another example here, which is playing out perfectly right now, is you have ENA. So ENA, again, we probably have increase in volume here on the initial break of Monday range. Yeah, you can see our volume's a bit stagnant, and you can see we start climbing right here. And we continue. So if you didn't play, because some people just play the flips based on like volume, candle closes above and stuff. That's one way to play it. If you didn't, you could have just had, let's say you had alerts right here. But like after this, so you wanted to play a retest of Monday's high. This alert was pinged as price came into here. And now look, you're retesting Monday's high. You're looking for triggers to get long on the retest and the hold of the level. And look at this, like look how oversold the 30-minute RSI is. That's down to like a 13-12. That's extremely oversold on a 30-minute time frame. So mathematically and statistically, you are probably going to get at least somewhat of a bounce, even if it is just a low high to go, because of how oversold that is. right? So there's your trigger, and you would have been alerted inside the Discord for every 30-minute close here, which is like, I don't even know, it's like 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours. Every 30-minute close, you would have been pinged in the Discord. This is oversold, 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 oversold. Probably a bullish divergence in here, right here. You can see here, this is your bullish divergence. So not only are you oversold, you also have a bull div into your retest. Now, how much did this play for? So that was a 6.7% move from the morning. Now what happens again? Now you're putting in a retest, but you're putting in a higher low, right? And look at every time it touches Monday's range, it's bought up. You can see these wicks. This is now support. What was previously resistance, not really, because this thing blasted through, but it's just the retest of the level that you can now look to play. Same goes for Monday's low. So if Monday's low was broken like this, price comes back in and you get a bear div here. You can look to short, and you can use your invalidation as whatever, a price, but it's hard to invalidate here as acceptance back inside. So if price were to accept back inside Monday's low, that'd be your invalidation of the trade. The same goes for this long here, right? If you got the move up like this and it faded down and you swept and you retested Monday's high and you started accepting back in the range, there's your invalidation. But it's not doing that. We got the move up, impulsed again, and you can just see every single wick touch into Monday's high is now acting as support. So you can play these retests, right, with any number of your own confluences or confluences that we have inside the Discord, being the two masterclasses specifically that we just went through, the RSI divergences and the OBOS, which stands for overbought, oversold. So, in a nutshell, that is how you can play Monday's range. You can play the reversal trades, being a sweep and acceptance back inside the range, targeting the other side of the range. You can play the continuation trades, where you break above and accept above and look for continuation. And if you miss those, you can look to play the retests. Now you can tie all of these different trades in with the bots that we have inside the Discord as well. But we'll go over that next masterclass where you can tie 2-3 different bots into the trades for higher conviction, and how you can look at the Discord to spot those and things like that. But that's the general overview of Monday's range and how you can trade that. And I think it should be pretty thorough that whichever way you want to trade it, however you want to back test it, different ways you didn't even know you could trade it. It should all be very clear for you guys. And if it's not, please ask me questions, because this is the time. And to do with anything at all for Monday's range. No? Everybody's got it? Locked in? All makes sense? Perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's all I had for you on Monday's range. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it should all be very clear in there. If you need to rewatch it, go for it. If you have questions later, too, ask me in Gold Chat or ask me in general or questions. I'm always here. Feel free to tag me. No problem at all. Slapping, thank you. Appreciate you guys coming through as always. I hope that these master classes where we're going more in depth on each bot have been beneficial. Again, they're just going to be an education under the masterclass section, as well as recordings for anyone that needs to go back and see. And any one of these masterclasses that I go through, you can just simply use the one thing that I teach you in there, whether that is the RSI divergences, the OBOS bots, or now Monday range. You can just use that alone, and you can make money every single day. Our bots will tell you where and when to trade. It just takes a bit of back testing from you, figuring it all out, using risk management, and you will always have trade opportunities given to you at the exact right time that you should be looking for them across the whole market. All right, guys. Again, appreciate you coming through. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. And again, as always, any questions at all, feel free to tag me inside the Discord. and we'll keep it going. We'll run Masterclass number 4 next week, where we'll cover combinations of the bots, how to easily find those in the Discord, and how to take higher conviction trades with them. So take care, guys. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you later.